News this morning to report on other than what has happened in the markets yesterday. Of course, yesterday the stocks kind of snapped their 4-day win streak. And it was primarily as concerns about a number of different issues. One was demand in industrial products like steel. One was a sell-off of certain kind of material stocks like coal, iron ore, and other kinds of commodity stocks such as that and other industrial products. And, of course, a sell-off on crude oil. So we have seen a number of issues, and crude oil, of course, is coming down in price. And one of the big issues is why. That was a big issue as of the close yesterday in the market. It is down, and why did that happen? Many believe that it's happening because it looks like there will be a release of our strategic reserves into the marketplace. That theoretically, well, not theoretically, I guess it will, in fact, help gasoline prices for a very short period of time. It's only going to last about 2 weeks, maybe. So can you predict when that release might happen? Did someone say 2 weeks before the election? You would be right about that, I would suspect. But that's what is, some are speculating. That's one of the reasons why we've seen oil come down as a result of that. Let me just say something. I've said this before, but it bears repeating. Strategic reserve is also and should be known as emergency for national defense purposes reserves. That's what it should be. Now, I know that the president is busy. I know he's busy campaigning. I know he's not aware, probably, of all the unrest in the Middle East and around the world. I'm sure he doesn't understand, apparently, and I say this because he's not doing anything. I assume that he does not understand the fact that we could be in a national defense crisis in a very short period of time. Hasn't figured that out. I don't want to use our strategic reserves to get gas prices down so that the president might have some great talking points going into the election or going into November 6th. That is not why we established that strategic reserves. But, of course, we have an administration that seems to have a disregard for any of that, and it is likely that it could happen if we continue to see oil prices nearing or hanging in around $100 a barrel. Iran has called for $150 a barrel, of course. And it sure looks like we're headed towards $4 a gallon before long. By the way, the heating season is almost upon us. That might not mean much to those of you who live down south, but when I got up this morning, it was a little warmer. When I got up yesterday, it was 38 degrees, 36 degrees. It was chilly. And it was a reminder that, and I resisted putting my heat on to knock the chill out of the air because I knew it was going to warm up. But nevertheless, it's a chilling reminder that, winter will be upon us sooner than later, and we are going to be spending a lot more money on energy for all practical purposes. So that none of this is good. Of course, around the world, we are seeing signs and hearing protests about death to America. In some very aggressive protests. It looks like everything that has been said about the protests before our ambassadors were killed is not true. The administration continues to hang their hat on the fact that all this is caused by some video that the vast majority of the protesters haven't seen. I want to know, I just have one question. I don't know why I'm going to, I'm not sure why I'm going to ask this question. But I've only got one question. That question would be, why is it, or where is our president? Where is he? Does anybody know where he is? Because we've got crisis and we've got America on the attack everywhere around this world. And I know that we've not seen out of Washington in general any leadership. But I don't know about you, but I don't sleep too well at night knowing that we've got this incredible deficit of leadership in our nation. We've got I almost said inability. We've got this unwillingness to govern, this unwillingness to show some leadership by anybody. At the same time, we are cutting our national defense system. We are faced with $1 trillion worth of cuts over the next 10 years in our national defense system. I don't want to have a smaller Navy, smaller Air Force, and smaller troops in our Army and Marines. I don't want that. Maybe some of you do. I don't. Have you looked around the globe? And our president is nowhere to be found when it comes to governing or leadership unless we go find him on the campaign trail somewhere, and it's not a very comforting feeling. All right, let me talk about, by the way, all of that is about the economy. It is the reason why we are struggling in this economy. It's not a deficit by way of debt. Yeah, we've got $16 trillion worth of debt. As a matter of fact, Fox News reported yesterday that for every dollar added to the economy, let me put it a different way, for every dollar added to the GDP growth of this nation, this president, and under this president's watchful eye, which isn't very watchful, but we have added more than $3 to our national debt. So for every dollar that the GDP has increased in growth, we have added $3 in national debt since January of 2009.